I went to an art school. I didn't even have a sports program. There were no teams at my high school. There was like 900 kids, and no one cared about sports except for me, except for the one guy who had the Yankees tattoo on his arm. But I don't even know that he was really a Yankees fan. I think he was just like a tough guy, New York fan. But so we had dancers, visual arts, music, singing, the drama, technical drama, and creative writing, which is what I did there. And so we didn't have sports, and so I grew up a sports fan, but with like a lot of music and art and whatever. So I've got these two influences, you know, like very balanced person. I get to school and no one cares about sports. So I get on the bus, I'm like, oh man, did you guys see that game last night? Nobody saw that game last night. And then in my senior year, I mean, there's one kid and he's in like a Washington Redskins shirt. And I was like, well, cool shirt, man. And he's like, oh yeah, you're a big Redskins fan. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, so we had like this instant connection, like an island. And so we go to high school. We're the only two sports nerds, except for the guy with the Yankees tattoo. But we're both doing art, whatever. It's great. And then go to college for 6 years at community college, and 2 years in the University of Florida. I work at a liquor store, though I've never had a drop of alcohol. I faked my way through like beer connoisseur, liquor connoisseur, and we've got a little TV in the corner, always watching Sports Center or Law and Order. Eventually, like they want to start this punk band, the guys I work with, because they're all musicians. And they all play in punk bands, and I'm not a punk musician. And they're like, oh yeah, Phil, you'll be in the band, you'll be the lead singer. And I was like, okay, great, what do we sing about? And so we decided to just call ourselves Sports Center. And so all the songs were about sports. And it being Gainesville, Florida, 2006, 2007, we only sang about championship teams. So it was like a joke, it was a running joke for 6 months. And finally we practiced and had a show, and it was the wildest thing in the world. Like, people were going nuts. So we played like 6 shows. So that's where I'm at. I go to college, 8 years, 6 years and a 2-year degree. Finally graduate. I go off to Barcelona for 3 months as my summer in the anarchist squat, which was summer in the anarchist squat. We played a lot of dominoes and cooked a lot of food out of the trash, which was delicious. So I spend that time there. I come back to Jacksonville, end up as a pool boy on accident. I answered the phone call, the wrong phone call. I was trying to avoid it because I had a buddy who was going to get me in as a drawbridge operator. I was going to be the drawbridge operator, but my brother's friend needed someone to clean pools. I answered the phone and I couldn't tell them. So now I'm a pool boy for like 2 years. I've got hair down to here, I've got a beard down to here, flip-flop tan like you wouldn't believe. But I wanted to work in baseball because I spent 6 years going to baseball games instead of college. And so I just get on the websites, and they're like, hey, you gotta go to pveo.com and apply. Sign up to their little newsletter. It's $50 a year, and you just apply. And I applied to probably 30 teams, everywhere from South Florida to Maine, out west. Nobody called me back. I'm writing cover letters and follow-up emails, whatever. I get a hand-signed rejection note from the Greenville Astros, and I saved it. I thought that was very, very professional of them. Very, a lot of respect there. And then I was cleaning pools, and I got a phone call from Idaho Falls, and they're like, hey, can you interview next week over the phone? I'm like, yeah, totally. So I sit in my little car and do this interview, and they hired me. And I assume it's just because I was the only one who applied to move to Idaho. It's not Boise. It's Idaho Falls. It was way on the east side. And it's a very boring town. It's 50,000 people in the whole town, which is the population of the University of Florida. We have more people at a football game than we do the entire town of Idaho Falls. So I move out there. I have going back to my art school days, I have an art show. I paint. Well, I tried to paint 100 paintings in 2 months, but I got probably like 80 paintings in 2 months. Sold them in the basement of an abandoned library for $30 a pop. Got all my cash. Took a cross-country road trip from Jacksonville to San Francisco with a buddy who didn't know how to drive a stick shift, so I had to drive the entire way. What's up, Patrick? And then from San Francisco, we go to Idaho Falls. Stayed there a summer. Interned, worked every day, 12 to 15 hours a day, doing stuff during the day. And then at night I would go work the radio boards for the away games. So I'd just go up there, sit in a dark room, listen to the ball game, control the boards, playing commercials, you know, top of the hour, like, you're listening to Chuckers Baseball here on KSPZ 980 AM. The time is 9:04. Sitting right back to the game, you know. It was great. I did that for a summer, went out there again, interned. The owner of the team came, no, I guess they needed a GM down here in Bakersfield. And what turned out to be a bad joke said, hey, 2 interns, we'll go down and do this. It's great. So we were like, yeah, we'll do it. We get an interview with the owner. I went into the gift store. I took off a polo shirt off the hanger, put it on, tucked it in, went up, did the interview, came back down, I took the shirt off, put it back on the rack, then went out to do the groundskeeper work with the groundskeeper before the game. And then I was on my way home because it's the end of the season. I got in the car with the radio announcer. We were going to Casper for the last 4 games, where I got to sit in the bullpen for a game. It was nice, in uniform, signing autographs, playing bullpen games. And then we were going from Casper, Wyoming to Denver, to St. Louis, to Kansas City, up to Minneapolis, free baseball games all the way. I was going to fly for free to Atlanta, catch a pavement show for free, and drive down to Florida and figure out what to do. When they called me, like, hey, you know, you're not really qualified to be the GM. If you guys want to come down and be the AGMs, it's all yours. And I was like, great. Intern to AGM. This is perfect. Came down to Bakersfield. The other guy lasted about 3 months before he went back east and went home, wanted to be a teacher or something. So he left, and now I'm just the AGM of the beautiful Sandlin Ballpark. I went from anarchist to pool boy to intern to homeless to assistant traveling secretary to AGM in 2 years, which gets me right on track from, you know, where I should have started when I was 24 and graduating college to where I am now, at 22. However it is you are when you're supposed to graduate college after 4 years.